What's happening, guys? This is Mike at Mike's Total Dragon Channel, and today we are actually going to talk about some Savage Dragon. It's been quite a while. In fact, it's been so long. When I opened issue 44 right here to thumb through it before we started, I kind of was a little lost about what was going on, but it will come back to me as we go. So it'll kind of be like an adventure for both of us. So we have Savage Dragon number 44 right here, as we see from the cover, him, Stranger, and then I believe, I can't remember if her name is Knockout, Powerhouse, or something like that, Smasher, something generic. We see they're like hooked up to some sort of spaceship with an exploding planet in the background. So we'll go ahead and get this thing started, open up. As always, Savage Dragon is brought to us by creator, writer, penciler, inker extraordinaire, Erik Larsen. So we open up on this house right here. Corpse cut in half. We see split right down the middle, along with this house right here, split in half. And then, I believe this guy's name is Block. Could be mistaken. It says, it looks like Dragon and Smasher took care of your arch nemesis, Super Tough. We got stuck with the smelly half. He's dead. There were times that I thought I'd never live to see this day. It's hard to believe the nightmare is really over, Rock. It's far from over. Even though the government was able to evacuate a good part of the East Coast, there are still people missing, and there is some duplication, people from your world that existed here already. Plus, some of Dark Lord's demon dogs managed to make it through the dimensional portal to our Earth, and a good sized chunk of our real estate was swapped with some from Dark World. It's not going to be over for quite some time. Is there any sign of your comrades? None. We can only assume they're still trapped on the other Earth, on the other side of the galaxy. My gut says they're still alive. Dragon's a survivor. Even if that planet blows up on schedule, my money's on that guy getting off in time. I hope you're right, my friend. I hope you're right. So basically what they do is they catch us up with what the status quo is on this first page here, which is very helpful because it has been a while since I've cracked open a Savage Dragon issue. So then we cut here to Dragon and Smasher, and then we see the charred remains of Rapture. Rock said Dark Lord had killed her. I had to know for sure. And the Rapture Dragon relationship was kind of complex, to say the least. There were times where it seemed like she cared more for Dragon than he did for her. And it seemed like he was very confused and aloof about the situation a lot of times. But I guess, of course, that's to be expected when, you're Dragon and he went through that situation he went through with the girl answering the door and getting shot dead. So we see him grieving. And then we have these kids right here who are who somehow have some sort of link to She-Dragon, who was trying to work for the police. She was trying to work with the police as a fill-in for Savage Dragon, but not nearly as effective. So now Smasher and Dragon are kind of exploring a little bit on this alternate Earth. They see this big statue to Dark Lord. Is it Dark Lord? Yeah, Dark Lord. So now basically they're trying to figure out how the hell do we get out of here. So Dragon says he remembers our Earth had a Martian spacecraft at the bottom of Lake Michigan that wasn't discovered until 1992. So he hopes to find the same thing here. They jump in Lake Michigan, swim to the bottom, and of course they're swimming in Lake Michigan and they have perfect vision. Then we cut to this scene right here with Frank and his wife, and he's kind of doing a little bit of research into Dragon's origin. As far as for Dragon's origin, I've gotten dead ends, but interesting ones. All the languages the dragon knows are broadcast all over the world on TV. He doesn't know anything that isn't on TV, and his knowledge of most written words outside of English is rudimentary at best. And he says, from what I've been able to tell, Dragon's entire knowledge from awakening in the hospital is just television broadcasts from June 3rd to June 17th or 7th, 1992, and I have no idea. It says as if his memory was erased and replaced with garbage off of TV satellites. So we have a little bit of information, a little bit of background on Dragon that his former superior officer, because he doesn't work for the police department anymore, has managed to find out. So now Dragon here, he's back on, we cut back to him, and he's on this Dark Lord's planet, and here are these ladies of the night, I guess you could say, and they're out working, and Dragon is walking around to see if he can find that copy of Sharona Jackson Rapture, but he does not find her. Instead, he finds Debbie, who was the girl that was shot back in his very early appearances. So this is the girl that Dragon was staying at Dragon's house, opened the door. She got shot by some sort of psychopath. Meanwhile, the original Rapture, she does show up, has no idea who Dragon is or anything. Not the original Rapture, but this Earth version of Rapture shows up. Tells him basically, I don't know who that guy is, fuck him. But Dragon has drugged Debbie to the spaceship and says that Dragon wants to take Debbie off planet with Smasher while they escape. Because Dragon knows this planet's about to explode and he wants to get her off. And as they take off, we see this really cool explosion here. Erik Larsen draws all these stars in the background, exploding planet, UFO. Then we cut to She-Dragon. She's here in the hospital. She's telling Howard that her friends are gone. Howard says, I don't care, you're crazy anyway, you could have fucking killed me. Meanwhile, Dragon and Debbie and Smasher are in the spaceship. They're trying to figure out how to get back home. We have here a funeral for Dragon. Or, I'm sorry, not Dragon. They're having a funeral for Rapture. And you have Barbaric and his wife are here. Some of Rapture's former friends, former hooker comrades, I guess you would call it. I'm not sure. They're propositioning Barbaric. So now we cut back to the spaceship. Dragon, Smasher are kind of giving the lowdown to Debbie about what's going on. Get a little bit of history between the two. Meanwhile, we cut back to Earth. Rock is, what do we have here? Rock, it's been months by any estimation. The planet's gone. We can't afford the manpower to attempt a rescue of that kind. So basically, Rock is politicking to get some sort of rescue mission for Dragon and Smasher. Rock says, I know a guy, and he knows Vanguard, who's an outer space guy, so they won't, and then Vanguard has his own spaceship, so that'll be easier too. Meanwhile, Debbie comes up to Dragon in the middle of the night, offers him to hook up, and Dragon passes on it. He says it's just too weird. I don't want to complicate things. Plus, it wouldn't be fair to Jennifer, who's Smasher. Then we have Barbaric here. He's complaining about his toy sales. as far as the Freak Force toys. His aren't selling as much as some of the other members of the team, so he's kind of bummed out about that. And then we have this scene right here where this is Super Patriot's son and daughter. Now, his daughter was attacked during the Mars Attacks ordeal, and we see her. She's in the hospital, and she had the baby of the Martian that attacked her and assaulted her. And then we have this page here, and we turn it. She says, "I think I'll call him Damien." So that's and this Damien here, this baby she had, looks exactly like Dark Lord right here, this grown version of him. So that's very foreboding. Also, it's really weird that she would name a child Damien. You know, obviously you have the Omen references right there. So that is issue number 44. Now we go to issue number 45 right here. We see here on the cover they have some, I'm not sure if this Asgardians, Greeks, or whatever, but this is clearly some sort of Thor, and this is clearly some sort of Hercules, and it looks like Dragon and Debbie are stuck right in the, or not Debbie, but can't remember what her name is. That's Smasher from the team, are stuck in the middle. So we open up, and you've got this cool outer space scene here drawn by Larson. The spaceship is hurling towards this type of planet. What is that? That's not Earth. 4 months of space travel for this? This Martian saucer was supposed to take us home, but this sure isn't it. Still, we're trapped in this dimension, and even if it isn't Earth, readings indicate this place is habitable and may have to do. So basically, they get knocked out of the sky. Then we cut back to Earth here, and we see Killcat and some of the other members of the SOS attempting to stop a bank robbery. And of course, things go south. These two guys are blown up. Here's another guy that was killed. And Killcat, totally ineffective. And then Killcat says, "There, see? Now shouldn't I be on the SOS?" And then Rock, he goes, "Let this be a lesson to you new recruits. Take nothing for granted. Even when it looks like you've got everything under control, prepare for the unexpected." Morose, Goldbrick, and Crusher didn't. And that idiot, Killcat, is still out there. So they lost 3 members of their team, but big dummy Killcat here is still alive and kicking. So this guy rips open the side of the alien ship. Dragon says, "Hey, we're just trying to get home." And he sees that he's surrounded by all these people. Surrounded in a strange land with no way out. This just sucks. Then we get to see Rita and William where they've been at. So William sticks a gun in this guy's face, says, "You and I are going to have a little talk. Somebody went to a lot of trouble, and I want to know who it was and where he is. You came gunning for me, man. I have every right to kill you. Talk." So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, William's grown a backbone. He's become this badass, which seems kind of strange considering that he's a badass now, when at one point he was terrified to even talk to Rita. We cut to Dragon. They're here on this Earth. And this looks like very much like a Jack Kirby style planet, like a New God style planet. And that's who all these people are. Though it has been centuries since Thor did walk upon your land, eager am I to return and show these young gods what being a god truly is. These gods know nothing of the feeling it is to be among mortals. So this is Thor. He's like their leader. You know, and I guess these are all various gods from across different pantheons. He sees Smasher. He says he wants to hook up with her. Dragon says, hey, that's not working. Thor says, no longer. I claim her as my own. So now we're going to have a big fight. Then we have Hercules. Hercules and Thor start throwing hands. These two are really going at it. They're destroying everything. We've got to grab Debbie and get out of here. Meanwhile, this is Vanguard and his little robot buddy. They're searching for Savage Dragon here in this asteroid field, which is probably the remnants of the dark planet they were on. Dragon gets Debbie, rescues her to bring her back to the spaceship. Hercules and Thor still continue to fight. This guy's really impressed by Jennifer's, that's her name, real name, Smasher's real name is Jennifer. He's really impressed by her fighting skills. Says this mortal woman fights like a god. Nice effort. I didn't know you had it in you. You're my only hope of getting back to my daughter. We got to get home. We can't stay here. So basically, it's just one huge fight between Thor and Hercules, this whole issue here. So Rock has went to, looks like, so Angel, who is playing right here, is Jennifer's daughter. Dart, her niece, is the babysitter. So she tells Jennifer's daughter they're still trying to find your mom. And her daughter's only reaction is, I wanted her to be home for Christmas, but she wasn't. We had pie, but it wasn't as good. So I guess you could say she's handling it okay, I guess. She becomes, her Angel becomes a very prominent member of the cast later on. So Dragon finds Debbie. She's crushed under all these rocks here. She was a 23-year-old prostitute going through a heroin withdrawal, but she deserved better than this. She deserved better than this. So it seems like no matter what universe Debbie is in, she can't get, she's always destined to have a shitty life. And Dragon finds Jennifer. She's over here knocked out, laying unconscious. This battle has at last ended. Hercules lies bleeding and broken. Thor is triumphant, and to him go the spoils of war. So Thor emerges as the victor. He's beat the hell out of Hercules, and now he claims Jennifer as his bride. So that is where we end up on this issue right here. We got some more letter page stuff. And then we have some little, these are kind of like the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. The little stats and data page, the name, alter ego, origin, power scale, all that type of stuff. You have that for Killcat, Kid Avenger right here. Kid Avenger is basically a dude, but he's just from the future, and he has like this suit that kind of gives him superpowers. Basically kind of like a kind of generic Iron Man type suit or whatever. And then Killcat has very generic enhanced strength and agility and that type of deal. They're both basically just a comedic team. You know, they're not very serious characters or what have you. Oh wow, look at this. Kid Avenger is only 5'4". 165 pounds with the armor and 140 pounds without it. So the armor only weighs 15 pounds. That's kind of weird. But that is, oh, and this, on this last page here, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 14, from when the Ninja Turtles was with Image, Splinter versus Shredder, enough said. So you've got Shredder fighting Splinter, who has mutated into a giant bat at this point. As I always say, this era of the Turtles, which is collected in a trade paperback called Urban Legend, is really wild, really crazy stuff if you ever come across it. But that is Savage Dragon number 45, 44, and 45. So we got those done today. Dragon Smasher, trapped in outer space and different realities, trying to find their way home, is essentially what we've got going on. So good stuff. It's always good to get back to Dragon. Hopefully we'll be able to get some more done soon. But that is Savage Dragon 44 and 45. So till next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.